Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fact of the Matter podcast. Today we will be discussing who will be the champion at the end of the year. I am joined today with Goose,
Hey, what's up?
and that's it for right now. Uh, why don't we
No Toby
start
today.
things off? No Toby today. Started off with men's flyweight. Goose, do you want to give your prediction first for who will be champion at the end of the year?
Hell yeah.
Wait,
So this
1 second.
sure.
Forgot. This is something I haven't done for our past podcasts. But
What?
be sure to like and subscribe to our podcast.
Hell yeah, gotta get that
Gotta
YouTube
get
shit
gotta
down.
get that YouTube down. All right, now Goose, who do
Alrighty.
you have for
Flyweight.
flyweight?
Honestly, I will admit it might be a little bit of bias, but I believe in this pick. I think Brandon Moreno is gonna be champ again. He has a fight coming up as of this recording. It's Albasi. I think he will beat Albasi. That's
That
my
fight
early
that fight
prediction.
is that fight got canceled, and now it's Brandon Royval.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot about that. Anyway, I think Moreno's also gonna beat Royval, especially in short notice. Royval fought very recently, so and he didn't do as well. I think Moreno has what it takes. And after that, I think he will most likely fight for the belt against Pantoja. I scored the last fight for Moreno, and I think this time he hurt his hand during the fight, and he's still, in my eyes, he still won it. So I think with further improvements and just if he keeps doing what he's doing, I think he's gonna beat Pantoja, and then I mean, who else is out there? When you look at the rankings for flyweight, I don't know who's beating Moreno other than Pantoja. So what do you think?
I completely agree with you. I definitely have Moreno winning the belt at the end of the year and being the champion.
Hell
I
yeah.
think he does beat Royval. I think he beats him decently comfortably. Royval, he did struggle on the ground with Pantoja. I mean, so did Moreno, but I would say Royval struggled more.
For sure.
And on the feet, I think it's going to be hard for Royval to beat Moreno on the feet. I just think he's a more technical striker. He throws more, and he probably hits harder than Royval. And then, yeah, I also agree with you. I scored the Moreno fight, the last Moreno Pantoja fight for Moreno. We've discussed this before. We believe it was second, third, and fourth rounds. I believe is that the one? I believe are the rounds we
I think
scored
so. Yes.
for
I
Moreno,
think.
with round three being the controversial, but that's fine. Well, we can do a breakdown of that fight later and explain our reasonings, but
Hell yeah.
I think there is more room for Moreno to grow in that fight and more things that he can adjust to. And Pantoja's cardio, his where he gassed out versus Moreno. Luckily, he had the will to fight still because he's not going to stop. But you could see him visibly slow down and all that. And you look at the Royval fight; he also slowed down dramatically. And looking at that, I think I have to give it to Moreno. I think he gasses out, and I believe I don't. As you said, I don't think anyone else in the division really beats him. I don't think
Yeah.
Amir does. People have said Makayev. I don't think so. I don't think Makayev is there.
I think Moreno
Uh,
murders Mokaya right now.
I agree.
And Pantoja. Pantoja, I think Pantoja, Moreno. Honestly, I think Raval beats
I think
Mokaya pretty
Kai beats
handily.
him too. I
Kai
think
as well.
I could see
Um,
even Kappa beating him.
yeah, I'll have to think about those next three: Nicolau, Cape, and Perez. I'm not
Yeah.
sure about those. I'd have to do a bit of research, but I think the top four absolutely murder him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easily. That's how confident
Easily.
I am. Mokayev is just not there yet at all.
Yeah. And I've seen people say Kappa could maybe win it. I don't see it.
Ain't
I like
happening.
Kappa. He's one of my boys, but I can't really give that. I can't really edge him against Moreno on that.
Yeah.
I just don't think so.
But let's move on to another very difficult division to predict. How about
Oh,
bantamweight? Who do you have?
bantamweight. Thinking about this long and hard, I do believe. I think Murab
Hmm.
will probably be champion. The reason I say this is because I do think Cheeto beats Sean O'Malley. I think the reason I say this, even though it is controversial, the reason I say this is I think Cheeto can hang with him in the striking, and Sean's I don't think is going to be able to hurt Cheeto. That guy's got the craziest chin I've ever seen for that weight class.
And defense.
Yeah, you see him. He got hit with what 200 plus significant strikes and didn't look like he had a scratch on his face against what's his face, the guy who
Corey?
no, it was the fight before Corey. No, it was the fight before Dom. The guy who
Rob Font.
Rob Font. Rob Font landed a ton of significant strikes on him, and he didn't look like he had a scratch onto him. And
Right.
eventually you see him just get the timing down and hurt and just constantly hurt him. That's what he's done in all of his fights. He gets the timing down and finishes the opponents or wins later.
How many fights do you think he gets this year?
I think he beats Sean, and I think if Murab beats Triple C, which I'm still iffy about that fight, but if Murab gets past Triple C, I think he would just use his wrestling to beat Cheeto, because Cheeto isn't necessarily the best grappler. Which is why I've said Murab, because I think stylistically him versus Cheeto is a good matchup. And then I think once Murab gets the belt, he's not going to defend it for a year, which is why I think he will be champion. Just kind of like off a technicality.
Yeah.
What do you think, Goose?
To be honest, this one might be no. I just don't think they're biased. I think Corey Sanhagen is going to do it at last. I think he'll be. The reason is, he's one win away from the belt. Really, he already deserves it, same as Murab. They shouldn't fight again, but he probably will. And I think he's the most improving and one of the most well-rounded bantamweights right now. And I would argue he's probably one of the smartest as well. I think because of his athleticism and his range, his style overall, how he adapts. I think he will be able to. I mean, as is right now, I think he beats Sean. He already beat Cheeto very easily, and I'll just add the picture. And I honestly think he beats Murab. I think he has what it takes to beat Mirab's style, because he's a smart guy and he's very capable. Like everywhere, really. Yeah. He's a good striker, decent grappler. He's improving there. And then, I mean, regardless who wins, Sean or Cheeto, I think Corey will probably be next. And I don't know who else beats him right now in the division.
Corey Sanhagen. Well, I don't think Peter Yan's getting a title fight. I do think he is a bad matchup. Yan's a bad matchup, but I don't think he'll necessarily get that fight. I think he has a good matchup versus Figgy.
Nah, he destroys Figgy.
No, that's what I mean. He's stylistically has the advantage over Figgy.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, for sure. I think so as well.
Yeah.
So that's what I have basically. I think Corey will get it done. One win. I don't know against who he'll fight against, and then title shot. I think he'll win.
I think if Murab gets the win over Triple C, I do think they will give him the title shot before Corey.
Yeah.
Which I can't say is unreasonable. I do think Marab deserves it after beating Jan the way he did,
Yeah,
beating Aldo. Even though we hate that he beat those guys,
I agree.
though we didn't have necessarily the anger that some other YouTubers have had.
Right, right.
MMA Guru, but uh, I do think they'll give him the title shot over Corey, which
Yeah, I think so too.
I can't disagree with, but uh, I do think if Corey and Marab fights, I have to think about that one more.
It's a tough fight to
But
predict, for sure.
that's a tough fight to predict, but
I just think Corey's too smart for Mirav, man. I really think so. I think he'll time big shots. I think he'll. I think
yeah,
he has the reason why Mirav has been shutting down opponents is because he just sensory overload. Corey's prepared to do that, to deal with that and to do that against Mirav, and that's not something Mirav has dealt with before. So I think Corey will do it.
yeah.
So
And well, another thing is that's if Marab beats Triple C, which is still a hard fight
right,
for him.
it is a tough one.
Which
I think Triple C is a tougher matchup for Corey, to be honest.
I would
I
agree with
think.
that. I would agree with that. And with Aljo out of the picture, it doesn't really matter
Right.
because he's going up a weight class. Marab can finally
Right,
stop
right.
being in his shadows and start putting on the big boy pants.
He can get out his ass now.
I know, finally. And yeah,
Yeah.
I do think I do think if Marab gets the win, because I do favor him versus Cheeto, and as you said, Corey already beat Cheeto. People saw that controversy. I didn't really think so. I did think he definitively beat him. I did see a lot of people say Cheeto
Hmm.
won, which I disagree with. I did think Corey won that, and
Wait, no. Who said Cheeto won?
there was a lot of people on
No
like
way.
Twitter when the fight first happened that
That's
were like,
insane. That's
dude, it was a split
absolute
decision, if I remember
insanity.
correctly.
Yeah, but that was like the most bullshit split decision. It was like 5-1 very easily. Man, people are dumb.
Yeah, but yeah, that's why I pick him, and I don't think he'll give Corey a shot, and I think he'll just wait out the year
Fair
if
enough.
he wins the
I
title.
could see that. I could see that.
All right, moving on to the next weight class, featherweight, which is an easier one to predict.
Maybe.
Maybe depends.
Volk's getting up there, man.
He is. What is your prediction?
Still Volk, but he is still he is getting up there in age. He's already 35, I think, and 35 is around the age where fighters start to slow down. So I'll say this: if age doesn't slow him down, he's not losing to anyone. But if the KO and the age and the weight cuts, if all of these three things catch up to him, I think Topuria has a chance to beat him, and if not him, maybe even Max Holloway. But outside of that, I mean, who else is beating Volk? Like realistically, Topuria, his skills are just not on Volk's level at all. But he has the power. That's the only
Aljo?
reason. Nah, 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 nah.
Yeah, I forgot. I'm just joking.
I mean,
I'm
no,
just
but
joking.
seriously, who else? I think Volk is gonna just show, like, even at his age right now, I think he'll show levels. So that's my pick. What about you?
Yeah. I also have Volk, but I do have some worries. Volk is getting up in age, and he did just lose by TKO or KO. I forget which one.
A nasty
But
knockout, yeah.
but that was also at a higher weight class. Sure, it was against Islam, but we have seen Islam does seem to have some power. He hurt Volk in the first fight. He hurt Oliveira. He's hurt a bunch of opponents, so it's not like he doesn't have power. Volk also fought that fight on a week's notice, while also not being able to train since he did injure himself and had to have surgery with his hand. And
Yeah.
I don't think Topuria beats him. I do think it's closer than people think it is, but I do think
Topuria versus Volk?
Yeah, I think it's closer than people think it is because I think I've been seeing people say he's just gonna wipe him out of. He's just gonna make him look easy. All
I'm
these other
people.
things.
I'm people. I'm one of those people.
I know you are, but I do think it's. I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be closer. I do think he's gonna win a comfortable decision.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be a 49-46 where he wins 4 rounds comfortably. But I do think Taporia can make at least 2 of those rounds close and probably win one of them.
Okay.
But I do think Volk does win comfortably. I don't think it's going to be a stomp as people are believing, but I do think it's closer than it's expected. And I don't see anyone else in the division beating him. Moisevar, whatever, I don't know how to say another column to mispronounce by Jackson Clausen.
His wrestling is good.
His wrestling's good,
but I don't know.
Volk was able to handle Islam for the most part. I don't think he beats him, and I don't think
who else, right?
Yeah, I don't think Allen beats him. I don't think Aljo beats him. I don't think
Holloway's gonna have to keep working a lot if he wants to. But I mean, it seems like he's going to lightweight. Yeah, so it seems like he's going to
lightweight. Doesn't seem like he's fighting Gaethje, which is interesting.
We can do the breakdowns of fights for future videos, but all I'll say is that I think Volk. If Taporia wins a round, it'll be because he wins 5 seconds of it, dropping Volk, not because he can outskill Volk. I think Volk will be able to dismantle Taporia. That's what I think.
Yeah, we can discuss that later.
Yeah, future vid. I mean, it's coming up pretty soon, so we'll have a video for that.
It's coming up in 2 weeks, I believe.
Damn, that's quick. I'm excited.
Wait, no, it's coming. Is it? No, I believe it's next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Wow.
Sheesh.
We're coming up on that. We might want to do a debate on that just to see who gets the quicker.
Who gets the nod? Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I'm down. But
moving on to lightweight. Goose, who do you got?
Removing bias. I think the fighter most likely to retain the belt is Islam. And I say that because, two things. Mainly. One of them is the inactivity. He's not going to fight until this summer, allegedly. I bet, or I would be willing to bet that he doesn't fight until October, Abu Dhabi. International Fight Week. That's just how the UFC deals with these fighters, Hamzat included.
One thing with that is I have seen that Islam apparently wants to fight at MSG instead.
Yeah, no, I believe it. I think his inactivity is not due to... I don't even believe he's injured, to be honest. He hasn't said anything at all about that. Neither has Ali. Yeah. I think the UFC said that. Dana said that. So I think they're just, holding him back just for the pay-per-views, Abu Dhabi, the Arab money. I think that's what's happening. I think they do the same with many other fighters, and so I actually believe that.
I definitely agree.
That taking that in mind, I think Islam will fight a maximum of twice this year, maximum. So one, October, and maybe just once. Maybe just once, but. So if he fights Gaethje, I think he wins. And Islam, Charles, and Arman, they all have a decent chance to beat the other two, right? Charles has a chance of beating Arman and then beating Islam. Islam has a chance at beating both, or either, because they're gonna fight. So, but with all that being said, I'm going to change my pick, a last-minute pick, to the boogeyman of the division, really. And I think Tony Ferguson... Listen.
Tony,
hear me out. Tony Ferguson almost beats Paddy, right? Even though he had an MCL tear 2 weeks before. Now imagine he's prepared. He only wanted he only wanted another record, for the losses. Now we get another 12 fight win streak. So that's what's happening.
No, not 12 fight, 17 fight win streak.
7.
And break the UFC win streak.
Damn right. Yep. That's the type of guy he is, right?
That's the type of guy he is. Tony Ferguson. All right.
What's your pick?
I'm biased. I'm biased. Let me walk it through first. Let me walk it through. He goes on, has a decent first round with Arman, and knocks him out in the second. Calls out Islam for that November card for Madison Square Garden. We get to Madison Square Garden. Islam versus Oliveira. The crowd's against Islam. Islam doesn't have 48 hours to rehydrate. Oliveira goes on, knocks out Islam round 3, becomes champion. But yeah, I do think Oliveira will become
Or
champion.
daydreaming, bro. Hell yeah. I hope it happens.
I do think that first fight, when I look at it, great game plan. Islam is a capable guy, and I definitely underestimated him in that first fight. But I do think he went in with a great game plan, a great counter-striking game plan. I've watched that fight so many times and broken it down so many times. He did a great job. I was very impressed with how he did it. I do think Oliveira changes up his style. We saw him change up a bit during the Dariush fight, where he implemented a little more defense than his last 2 fights against Islam and Gaethje. I think with that little bit, I think he just needs one good hit to hurt Islam, and once he hurts Islam, it's hard. It seemed like once Oliveira hurts you, you can't stop him.
Let's wrestle.
Let's wrestle. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We can, but yeah, I can discuss the wrestling in a different video and why that's necessarily a favorite.
Hopefully we get to make a video breaking the rematch down, meaning hopefully Charles beats Arman, but we shall see. I think it's a close fight. I'm going to pick Oliveira, but considering that Islam is only fighting once this year, most likely, and Gaethje might jump ahead. Honestly, I don't know what the UFC is thinking. So
I've seen the UFC say they want Oliveira versus Islam.
But Islam doesn't want Oliveira, and if Gaethje gets a bigger pop when he fights Max, you never know with the UFC what they're doing. So
that's fair.
We shall see. I think it's a very close fight. Yeah,
this is a very close fight. All right.
Moving on to welterweight. Who do you have?
Moving on to welterweight. This is a little bit more difficult than it's like in a similar spot to lightweight, where there's one good favorite and then there's like people underneath. And that big favorite is Bilal Muhammad. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I can't tell. I could not tell.
No.
I was like, okay.
I will say that big favorite, it seems right now, is Leon Edwards. Leon, he was able to beat both Colby and Usman, though I'm not going to excuse Colby's performance, but he did just come out and do nothing.
Because of Leon.
Definitely because of Leon. He was afraid, and that was the main problem. It's what would happen if someone wasn't afraid, like a Shavkat, who's also got, I don't necessarily say better wrestling, but I think the size of him definitely helps him, because I believe he's a bit bigger than both.
Better grappler, for sure.
And he's definitely a better grappler than the both of them. But wrestler, I don't know if technical wise they're better, but I think the size would definitely help. I do think Yeah, from experience, I hated wrestling lanky guys. Those guys were so bad. I hated wrestling lanky guys, and Leon being lanky definitely helps him
Mm.
uh, a lot because he's able to just like not be taken down, and he's just able to like be on his hands, and you're holding his legs, and you're like, dude, you're supposed to fall down. Like, what are you doing? And he just doesn't, and then he's just like, yeah, I'm still standing. He's like, and you're like on him, like, dude, I'm on top of you. How are you still standing?
Right.
But
Well,
I do.
Shotgun's a good striker too, though.
Shavkat is a great striker, and Leon is a very slow paced guy. Shavkat's more fast paced. It's who I think that fight comes down to is who can put their pace on. And I usually favor the faster paced guy, but in this case, I'll probably have to say Leon wins it
Hmm.
because he's hard to take down and it's hard to go at a faster pace against him. What do you think,
Yeah.
Goose?
Fair. Yeah, for me, it's basically a coin flip between Leon and Shafkat. I mean, it doesn't really matter if Belal beats Leon, which is possible. I
Definitely.
mean, I'm being honest. It's possible. I think Shafkat beats Belal, and I think a fight between Leon and Shafkat. I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a coin flip because of that aggression mostly. I think Leon is technically better, but will he do enough to actually stop Shafkat from finishing him? And I just keep thinking of his fight against Nate. Nate timed a very precise and kind of sneaky one too, or more a Stockton slap and a cross. So I don't know. I think I definitely see opportunities for Shavkat to
Yeah.
capitalize. He's intelligent. He's a good striker and a better grappler. The wrestling might even out, and I think it's a coin flip. I think. See, I actually wrote down Leon, but I'm gonna say Shavkat. I'll say
That's
he
fun.
wins the finish.
I do find it funny. Before we started recording, I said I was probably going to pick Shavkat, and then I switched to Leon. And you originally had Leon written down, and then you
It's
switched to
tough. It's
Shavkat.
a tough one.
It's a close fight. I
It's a
definitely
tough
have to do more research. This is just going off the top of the head,
Yeah.
so it's kind of hard. All right,
Middleweight
moving on.
next.
What's your middleweight pick, Goose?
This one, okay, get ready because I did a lot. I actually try to think about how it's going to play out, like what the UFC is thinking for matchups. Okay, here's what I
All
wrote
right.
down. Izzy, he will not fight for the title next. I know it's like, I mean, the UFC really crossed the line with Kobe, but I don't think they'll do Izzy for the title just next. I think he depends who he fights. I think he would lose again to Sean. I think he probably loses to Hamzat and DDP. Well, probably loses to Hamzat, maybe loses to DDP, and I would honestly pick Bobby Whitaker to beat Israel. I mean, I thought he beat him their second fight slightly. So yeah, Ace is not looking great in my eyes. I think he beats Jared Cannonier again, but that's about
Yeah.
it. Like that's my most confident pick for him. Now,
Yeah.
Jared, I think he beats Sean. I think he beats DDP. I think he beats Costa, and I think he beats Hamzat. I think the only two people that beat him are Whitaker and Izzy. Now, Bobby Knuckles, I think he beats Costa next, but I don't think he fights for the belt because
I agree.
he just got finished, and then he would fight either Hamzat or Cannonier most likely. I'm not sure. He would beat Cannonier, but I mean I don't know. I think Hamzat beats him to be honest,
Yeah.
because of the grappling mainly. But I mean it's still close, and it depends on who he fights the second fight. So next, if Costa somehow beats Bobby, he won't, but somehow, he'll probably fight Hamzat next. And I mean, it doesn't really matter who wins because which one of them, if they fight Cannonier beats both in my eyes. And then if Boris fights Izzy or Bobby, he wins both in my eyes, and he loses to Cannonier. He might fight Vittori instead. That's a coin flip. I mean, I don't know. That's already pretty murky water. I don't know what the UFC is thinking, but I mean, just looking at the matchups, I think Cannonier. I think Cannonier is gonna be champ. He's gonna do it. I don't think he'll
It's
be
interesting.
fight. I know it's kind of a sleeper pick, you know.
That
It's
is a
kind
sleeper
of, but I just think I'm thinking of the matchups right now. If he were to fight right now, the top five, I think he beats most of them, and I don't think he'll fight Izzy next. I don't know. That's just
I have been seeing news that Cannonier's been calling out Hamzat to a fight, which that was going to be scheduled before the Costa fight.
Hmm.
So maybe,
right.
maybe
I think
that's
Cannonier beats him, knocks him out.
interesting. I could see that. Cannonier versus Costa is the fight I've been wanting
Ah, that'd be so fun.
because that would be a fun fight. I think.
That'd be fun.
I still haven't fully decided, so I'm gonna walk it through, like you did. I don't think Izzy's gonna fight for the title. I think the reason I don't think that is because I think he's still gonna take some time off. I don't think he's gonna fight until end of this year. I don't think he'll fight for a very long time because he seems to have just been like, all right, I need to step away for a second. He's submitted himself as the number 2 best middleweight of all time. Yeah, at least in my opinion. I think you agree with that, Goose.
Yeah, for sure.
And Whitaker, he just lost. If he beats Costa, which I do believe he will be up there. I wouldn't be surprised if they do Costa versus Sean Strickland.
That's also a good fight.
That's a good fight. Who do I favor in that? I don't know. I do think my breakdown of Sean Strickland was sort of proven during the Strakus fight, where blitzing seems to be the best weight against him, and that seems to be what Whitaker does best is blitzing. He did get out blitzed by Drakus, and Drakus did kind of struggle to blitz a little bit, but it's better than trying to fight technical like Izzy did because of the boxing. But I think looking at this, I think I disagree with you. I think Hamzat does beat Cannonier. I think that is a hard fight for Hamzat though. But I do think Hamzat has a decent chin. I don't know how it's going to stand up.
Cannonier though.
Cannonier can hit. He's
got a fucking cannon.
He does. But it's also the wrestling of Hamzat is better, and this isn't like Usman, where he can use his wrestling to sort of get it there. Then again, it's harder to control bigger people, so it's harder. I'm going to go with the controversial pick of Bo Nickel. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. Get out of here.
No, I'll probably.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Hamzat. This might be a casual take, but I do think Hamzat will probably. I can't even say because
he has a good chance.
He's gonna fight. He's got a chance, but it's also like he doesn't fight enough anymore. He used to fight so much, now he just doesn't fight. So it's like I can't. It's so hard. Yeah, I agree with that. The UFC keeps trying to like shelve him.
Yeah.
I think they do one more fight where he fights Cannonier, and if he wins that fight, I think he does fight for the title just because of that push that they're going to give to him, whether he deserves it or not. I do think the UFC will do that because Sean just lost. Whitaker would have just come off a KO loss. I don't think Izzy's going to be fighting. If Cannonier's fighting Hamzat, then he'll be out of the picture. Vittori, I don't think is going to get the title shot, so I think it's going to be like an Islam case where they kind of just gave him the title shot after.
Right.
So maybe, I think it's going to be the case.
So he has a star power.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to. So I think our two picks, it's Cannonier or Hamzat. I think whoever wins that fight, I do favor both of them versus DDP. So I think either Cannonier or Hamzat. If Cannonier can get a shot after Hamzat, I think whoever wins that fight, if that fight happens, which it's kind of looking like it will, I think they'll get the title shot, and I think they beat DDP.
Mm.
So I'm gonna go with Hamzat, but I can't really argue with Cannonier.
Cool, cool. I do think if Issei comes back and is active, I think he has a chance of becoming champion again. But I'm
I
just not
agree.
very confident. Like I don't know where his mindset. I don't know how his training has been. He seemed to have gained a bit of weight. I don't know. So I will go for a safer pick in the active fighters. So
Yep.
moving on to light heavyweight. Another coin flip for me. But who do you have?
Um, I have. See, this is hard. This is hard. Let me walk it through. So Pereira is a very good pick. That is a very comfortable pick. However, I think if he fights uh, Jamal Hill, if he wins that fight, he says he wants to fight Ankh after, which I do think Ankh's wrestling is a bit hard for him to handle. On the feet, he wins easy, and I don't know. Ankh was able to handle the Polish power, but I don't know if he can handle the Pereira power. But I think if he takes him down, it's going to be hard for Pereira to win that fight, especially if he's able to take him down at will. I don't think, as you know me, I think Ankh's wrestling is very overrated. I've talked about this in the past where people do overhype him because of that Dagestani wrestling, which he does not have. But looking into that, if Jamal hit, but I will say if Jamal Hill beats Pereira, I do see Jamal Hill uh, beating Ankalaev because I think he's got good enough takedown defense. So it comes down to who will be champion. I don't want to write out Pereira because Pereira can definitely win that Ankh fight, but Jamal, and I do think he beats Jamal Hill, but I think that's a very close fight, and I still haven't really fully decided who I think wins. But I'm probably going to go with a safe pick. I think Jamal Hill will be champion. I think that's a safer pick. I mean, Pereira is a pick, but I think looking at the Ankh fight, I think he's got a better stylistic matchup. So whoever wins that, I think it's either going to be Jamal Hill or Ankh. I could see Pereira, but I do have those two favored at the top with Pereira slightly below them. Yuri, I don't know. I think he should, after he fights Rakic, whoever wins that fight, I do think should fight Jan. I would love to see a Yuri versus Jan fight.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
And Rakic, if Rakic beats Yuri, which I do not favor him in, I favor Yuri. I mean, it's fair, but I think he needs one more fight. I do think that they'll probably, whoever's champion at the end of those two fights between Jamal Hill and Pereira, and the winner of Jamal Hill and Pereira versus Ankalaev, I do think that's where they're going to stop for a little bit and give it a rest. What do you think?
I think it's a coin flip between probably Poatan and Ankalaev. Honestly, I don't think he'll. I don't know. I don't really favor him in either matchup, to be honest. I mean, I do a little bit against Poatan, but I've been doing a bit of homework on that. Like, I don't know. I'm not super confident. I think. But regardless, I think Ankalaev has what it takes to beat both. The problem is he's pretty stupid. His fat IQ is just... He's getting himself DQ'd and putting himself in triangles at that level. Come on.
And then complaining about it constantly.
Blaming the victim of his own foul. Yeah, no, it's annoying. But I think Ankalaev will be my pick. Jan and... Well, Yuri just lost his shot, finished, and Jan is not very close from one either. Rakic, I don't know. The way it's looking, I think Ankalaev will probably win it, and I don't think he'll even defend this year. So I think he'll win it late this year. But
yeah,
that's my pick. All right, here's a fun one. How about heavyweight?
We did a little discussing before this. Heavyweight. I think this might be controversial, but I don't think there'll be a champion crowned at the end of the year.
Hmm.
The reason I think that is I think we are going to wait too long for Jones versus Stipe. I think Jones is not going to fight Tom Aspinall. I just don't see that happening. What do you think, Goose? You think that would happen?
I think, and still, Tom Aspinall will remain the legitimate champion. I
I
don't
think
know who he's fighting next, but I don't see anyone in the UFC currently beating him.
that's fair.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I mean, I
I don't.
think in terms of your question, though, I think it's very valid. It's very honestly, it's very likely uh, that we won't have a champion. I think
Yeah.
Jones and Stipe, regrettably, it will probably happen very late this year, and
Yep.
then they will either retire immediately, or they will, like whoever wins, Jones, most likely, he
Most
will
likely.
just hold the belt until he retires next year, something of the sort.
Or
One of the
retires
two.
and they don't have a fight ready to go for the
Right,
title.
right. I mean, Tom Aspinall, he's a champion, okay, and he's gonna remain champion. I don't know who else is beating him. I mean, he already beat Volkov. Blades, he could rematch Blades. I don't know that Aspinall.
I think they might do the Gon fight,
Right,
which I
but is
which I
Gan
favor
beating
Dom
him?
for the wrestling. But yeah,
Yeah, no, it's a close fight, but Aspinall has better grappling, and I
yeah,
don't know. I
I
think
agree.
Aspinall beats Gan.
I
So
agree. But yeah, back to my point, I will say what I think is going to happen is they're going to do, as you said, Jones versus Stipe late in the year, and then after, I think Jones is going to retire,
yeah,
and I think that'll be it. I think that'll be it. I think he's going to retire,
very
and
likely.
they're going to have a fight booked in January for that
Well,
title.
it also depends when he retires because they might
Depending.
be working on the next title fight, like for the vacant belt, after he wins. Like even if he retires later, and we might get Aspinall December, November. You know,
So yeah,
that's
oh,
possible.
that is possible. I will say, what they could do is they could pull a Whitaker where they just the undisputed title winner retires and then they just bump him up to be the official title holder, like
They
they did
should.
with why am I forgetting his name? Uh, Aldo's boy that fought at featherweight that fought at bantamweight that was the winner after Cruz before TJ
Barao?
Breno. No, Breno.
Shit, I don't remember, man.
Do you know who I'm talking about though?
I don't think so.
Uh, it was the
Not
champion
Henan Barao.
Henan Barrow. That's who I'm
Oh, okay,
talking
okay.
about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That, he's Aldo's boy, but yeah, I think that they're gonna pull like a Henan Barrow or a Robert Whitaker,
Mm,
where they just bump him the champion,
maybe.
which I
Yeah,
could definitely see
they should.
happening with Tom. They should.
They should already. but
Yeah.
but
All right,
all
and
right.
yeah, why don't you go into your
Strawweight.
breakdown? Oh, strawweight. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I already said mine. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
So, strawweight. Yeah. Who do you have?
Strawweight, pretty easy. I think Wei Li's gonna win it. I think she's gonna beat Zhang Wei Li, or I think she's gonna beat Yan Zenan, or I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Again, another thing of Jackson not being able to pronounce the name correctly. But I think she beats everyone in the division. I don't see anyone beating her. Maybe one of there is an up and comer who I could see, but I do think Zhang Wei Li
Hmm.
wins it. What do you think?
It's either Wei Li or Tatiana Suarez, but Tatiana Suarez has had, or she has been injured her entire career. I think she has spent more time injured than actually fighting in the UFC. And well, she's injured currently. I don't know how that's gonna go. She was gonna fight title eliminator fight I don't know if she gets a title shot when she comes back. If she does, I think I do give her the edge just because she's a giant weight bully and a wrestler in a women's division, which means they have no wrestling. So, but I think because of what I mentioned before, I think Willie is gonna remain champion. And
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I don't know. To be honest, I don't have too much to say about that. I think Willie is a step above the rest.
no, yep, and I agree. Bantamweight, women or not women's bantamweight,
Flyweight,
women's flyweight. What do you think, Goose?
That one was also a bit iffy for me to pick. I think, honestly, it might be Valentina again if she doesn't retire, or Blanchfield. It feels weird to say. I mean, Blanchfield's so green, but I think they're gonna do Erin against Grasso next, and I think Blanchfield has a good chance to beat Grasso. And then the winner might defend against either Wei Li or Valentina, assuming Valentina. I think Valentina is going to fight once more. Um, but I mean, it's either Valentina or Blanchard. Depends if Valentina is too old right now. We'll see. We shall see. I think. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at the other fights. I just don't or fighters. I think Macy will be. Will fight Chukagan and lose. I mean, I don't know what else. Valentina is gonna beat whoever she fights next, most likely. I don't know. I don't see anyone else getting to the top in time. So, what do you think?
Uh, it's Aaron Blanchfield versus Grasso. I think that's happening soon. Well, it hasn't been confirmed, I don't believe,
Right.
but I do think that is the next fight. Blanchfield, I like her grappling, but her striking is not it. I am still mad at the UFC for cutting Talia Santos.
Ah, me too. So stupid.
That she did so well versus Valentina. I thought she beat Eric Blanchfield on the striking because Blanchfield did
She
nothing
was
in the
good,
grappling.
man. She was actually a good prospect or contender, rather.
Yeah, and then I think she could have fought her versus Grasso would have been fun. I think.
Yeah.
And I look at that fight. On the ground, I think Grasso can definitely hang with Blanchfield. I don't think that there's really an advantage there. So I have to look at on the feet, and when I look at on the feet, I do think Grasso is better. I think looking at her versus Santos, Talia Santos did win on the feet against Blanchfield. So when I look at that fight, I have to give it to Grasso. And then Grasso will probably fight, as you said, whoever, if Whaley comes up in weight to fight. Whaley versus Grasso, I'll probably favor Whaley. So maybe I'll have to say Whaley double champ by the end of the year, wins flyweight.
Interesting. Yeah, I do think Willie has a good shot against Grasso. And maybe I'm underestimating Grasso's wrestling, honestly, against Erin. We shall see. I am concerned just for the wrestling. I think Erin
That's fair.
could win just with wrestling. I do think Grasso has. She's improving her BJJ game, but I don't know. I'm still concerned about that.
That's fair.
You're right. The striking is not really close. Grasso is a lot better.
Yeah. All right. Should we talk about bantamweight for a second?
Fuck that.
I don't care about that weight class.
I don't give a
featherweight's not even a weight class. To review our picks, my picks for the end of the year were at men's flyweight, Brandon Moreno, men's bantamweight, Marab. I'll just say our men's bantamweight, Marab, featherweight, Volkanovski, lightweight, Charles Oliveira, welterweight, Leon Edwards, middleweight, Hamzat Chimaev, light heavyweight, Jamal Hill, and then heavyweight, no champion, and then double champ for Whaley. What are, just a small recap, what are yours, Goose?
Sure. I picked Moreno, Corey, Volk, Tony. No. Either Islam or Charles. Then Leon, Cannonier for middleweight, Ankalaev, Heavyweight, that's a tough one. Either no champion or Aspinall. Strawweight, I think it's gonna be Wei Lee most likely, and wait,
Women's flyweight.
yeah, no. Thought I picked wrong, but yes, and then women's flyweight. Shit, I don't even know, man. Maybe Valentina again. Maybe Valentina again. Maybe.
All right.
Maybe. Just
I
maybe.
do say if Valentina fights Whaley, I do favor Valentina.
And I think Valentina beats Blanchfield for sure.
I agree with that. All right. Those are our picks. Let us know what you think. Remember to like and subscribe.
Hell yeah.
Do us any last words?
Leave some hate comments, please, and thank you. I will
Thank you.
love you
Yes,
forever
please.
if you do.
All right. That is Fact of the Matter podcast, and we will see you later.
All right, peace.